We're the Full-Time Devils. We're on Bleacher Report today. You can learn a bit more about us, check out our videos and subscribe. The information is in, the details and that below. Right now, though, we're going to discuss Manchester United's Champions League group stage opponents, and we are joined by European football expert Mina Rzouki. Mina, what do you think? First up is Bayern Leverkusen, coached by... Well read, Sammy Hippier.
Yeah,
Sammy
Hippier. I
Hippier.
know exactly what's happening. It's
Check
just
it out.
because
Have a little read.
Got me in the.
Don't worry.
Sammy Hippier.
Mina, are we worried about Bayern Leverkusen?
Yes and no. I mean, I think this season more than anything that they're probably better than last season, and they came third, so that's saying something. They had the second highest amount of shots in the Bundesliga last season. They're coached by Sammy Hippier. They play nice 4-3-3, a little bit of a counter-attacking team. They love to exploit space, so you've got to be compact, you've got to be tight, and you've got to close down the lines because they know exactly how to maneuver and find the holes and exploit them. Love their through balls. They're quite direct in their play. They don't tend to possess the ball very much, rely on the opponent to take initiative, and then they'll try to counter-attack as much as possible. The only thing I would say about them is they're quite reliant on their striker, which is, of course, Stefan Kiesling, top scorer in the Bundesliga last season, and they lost Schürrle. Now, this is probably the reason why they had so many shots as well, as he loves to take a shot great from outside the box. But now that he's gone, he's been replaced by Heung-min Son, who's supposed to be one of the greatest players, ice-cold veins, really technical, beautiful on the ball. Little bit lacking in composure, but will definitely be a threat. Sidney Sam on the other side has been great so far this season. Has already managed a few goals and several assists, so someone to look out for as well. But like I said, if you close down, if Manchester United close down the spaces, then they haven't got that much to worry about. Again, you keep them from taking the ball and imposing their pace.
Do you think their attacking players, who you've highlighted as maybe their better players, will they cause a problem for the likes of Nemanja Vidic and Rio Ferdinand?
This is the thing. I mean, Stefan Kiesling is perhaps one of the man that's like, how you can say, most underrated striker. I mean, he's 29, he's about to turn 30, so that's one thing why he was, meant to be a player that was going to go to Sunderland. Physically imposing, scored 25 goals. He's able to maneuver himself around. He's not just a towering striker who's, who's just going to header the ball in. He's quite good as well in linking things together. Defensively, they're also quite strong, another thing, and they'll be physically imposing, and they'll try to close down the spaces as much as possible and then impose their own counter-attack.
I felt quite relaxed about the group at first, but now you've made him sound absolutely brilliant. I'm a big fan of Son as well. Son's still a really young player as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still very young, but it's the fact that he can perform so well under pressure. There's been so many players, in the Bundesliga that have been so technically beautiful, like Shinji Kagawa at the time of Borussia Dortmund. But what's so good about Min Son is the fact that, firstly, he came quite cheap. Secondly, it's the fact that he just doesn't seem to be affected by anything around him. He's so concerned with how he plays his own football, how he can impose what he has on the team. Very skilled, very great with the way that he moves, looks for space, finds that pass, scores. He scored several goals last season. Great buy for them. But like I said, it's the fact that he can perform under pressure.
Okay, another player we probably should mention is Lars Bender, because he's been linked to us so often, isn't he? And is so highly rated. Would he fit in any side in Europe? Is he as good as his reputation suggests?
Yes, I think he's probably one of the reasons why Bayer Leverkusen did so well defensively as well. I think it was the second best defense that they had last season. He is the greatest tackling machine, or as they like to dub him in the club. He's someone who, when he goes in for a duel, he'll most likely win it.
Cool. So what we want to know is, can Manchester United beat them? Or do you think Manchester United should be beating them in this group?
This is the thing about Bayer Leverkusen. They're a good threat when you've got their starting 11. If one of them's injured, they're already falling apart.
So we should be all right then. Good.
Yeah, definitely.
Good. 6 points.
Probably the
6 points. That's what I've heard there. Now, Real Sociedad. This is the first time United have played them, so we've no idea really what we're up against or what we should be expecting. What do we know?
For me, they're a bigger threat than Bayer Leverkusen.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The difference with them is that they're a very technically beautiful side, and one that has been together now for a year, that has played under Montaigne. They had a rough time in the beginning of the season last year, and now they've changed their coach as well. What they look for is they have a great academy. So many of their players had come up through the ranks, have been Sociedad players, and always they go for a coach who tends to be really good with their youth. Now, what they do is they play this really beautiful football, 4-2-3-1. They completed the most amount of passes in attack other than Barcelona last season. The front three love to play together. It's constantly shooting, constantly rotating. Carlos Vela cutting in, and you've got Griezmann also doing the same or staying wide. You've got Pressure in the middle, who goes from midfield to defense. He's their club captain, who stayed with them when they got relegated, who's been a season ticket holder since the age of 5. There are players who perhaps were, some of them, a last chance saloon, and the likes of Carlos Vela. He really needed to prove that he had the potential. Now they play this kind of football that's a bit of a melange between Barcelona and Real Madrid, in the sense that they know how to possess the ball and they also know how to counterattack. And when they counterattack, they do so with blistering space. They're scary.
I think Manchester United will go to European games maybe playing quite conservative and just trying to get a draw away from home. Yeah. So do you think we can beat them, or do you think it's going to be dangerous for us?
Sociedad is an unpredictable beast. You don't know whether or not they're going to be conservative like they were in the start of last season. But against Lyon, you saw them trying to go for it. I think they believe in who they are now. They're quite proficient in the way that they've played their football for the last year. They know each other well. There's great chemistry there. And there's a lot of talent in that squad. It's unpredictable because, like I said, there's not that much experience. So it's not like these guys have grown up. I mean, a lot of them were playing in the second division. It's not like they've grown up being accustomed to playing in Europe. And that is something that you need to have ice cold veins to play in big stadiums like Old Trafford. So that's what we're not quite sure about when it comes to Real Sociedad. Against Lyon, they seem to not care, but it's Lyon. Manchester United is a whole different concept.
Yeah. The fans have been lining up for 8 already, haven't they, trying to buy tickets in their thousands. So sounds like they're going to be nervy. Another 6 points, probably. Is that a reasonable assumption? We're on 12 points. We've probably already qualified. So we haven't really got to worry about Shakhtar Donetsk anyway, but we have got to play them. What do we think?
Shakhtar Donetsk, if you had asked me this question last season, I would be like, you need to be very scared. Yeah. But now, that one, I would think, if anything, is probably the least challenging game. Yeah. The difference with Shakhtar last season is they had a tremendous team, and I don't think anyone valued how much talent there is there. Well, actually, now they value it because they've bought it mainly. The likes of Willian, Fernandinho, and of course Mkhitaryan, who's now at Borussia Dortmund, who's doing tremendously well as well. They had this great chemistry going for themselves, and of course they play in the toughest stadium. I mean, going to Ukraine and playing in Donetsk is one of the hardest things to do in Donbass Arena. It's an aggressive league. It's an aggressive championship, and even the fans are aggressive, and it's a daunting experience. Okay. So
we'll beat them. Sounds like we're going to beat them.
I think yes. I think Manchester United has a really good chance against them.
Who do you think is going to go through? Who do you think is going to the Europa League, and who is going home with nothing? Not even a wooden spoon in.
Nothing but memories.
This is it. Bayer Leverkusen got out quite early from their Europa League last season. Perhaps they're not very good managing their depth, so I think they're out. Shakhtar don't like the half of the team that they were last season. So my money's on Real Sociedad and Manchester United.
Okay, thanks, Mina. Right, Ian, we've heard what Mina had to say. What do you think? How do you think we're going to get on? And what do we hope from this Champions League sort of experience as it's David Moyes' first season? We haven't really significantly strengthened from last season, if we're honest.
No, we haven't. Let's not get started on that again.
Don't.
I think when I first saw the draw, I think we've got one of the best groups, really. One of the easier groups.
So have you seen Celtics?
God, Jesus.
Sail through.
But I think what we should be aiming for, I think these are all clubs that we can easily draw away against and win at home.
Should we be a bit more ambitious?
What,
for a win away?
Oh yeah, I reckon we could, but I would just say at least it should be safe. We should top the group, and I think we should be. If we don't get to the quarterfinals, it would be very bad.
If we can avoid even like a Bayern Munich or maybe a Barcelona at the quarterfinals, I think with David Moyes' first season, all that matters is we have a respectable campaign. Realistically, we don't have the squad to win the competition.
Well, I think we could. I think anyone could. Like Chelsea just won it off defending.
Over 90
so
minutes.
I think we could, but I think, just having a respectable campaign so that next summer we can say to people, we're still a decent... We've still got it.
We've still got it. That's it. That's what we're after. Mina, have we still got it?
So Alex Ferguson was a tough thing to look at the bench if you had to face Manchester United. But I definitely think David Moyes has the capacity to do well for you. And you started out in comparison to, let's say, the likes of Arsenal and what group that they have. This is an easier ride. So, I mean, if you don't qualify out of this group, then you don't deserve to be in the Champions League.
All right, thank you very much, Mina. Well, because of Mina and her fountain of knowledge that is her brain. We haven't really said a lot during this video, but usually we do. Gotta shut Ian up. So check out youtube.com/FullTimeDEVILS. That was a bit of a wonky slash, like a bracket. Check out /.
Yeah, do use a /.
Yeah, FullTimeDEVILS, and watch our videos where we will actually talk to you about all things Manchester United. Yes, do that.
Oh, steady on, mate.